Right. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Right, that's right. Okay, second thing, there's apparently a group of a very large international delegation that wants to meet with somebody from this committee Thursday at 2 p.m. here in, where is it? Here and here, and I can't make it, and none of my subcommittee chairs could make it. But if any of you would like to represent the Environment and Transportation Committee on Thursday at 2 p.m. here with with an international delegation of people, please, and they're environmental people, apparently. So just let Trish know. Yeah, no rhinos or dinos, no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, it looks like Jim's coming all over the world. Okay. Well, the more the merrier. Jim's here.
I'll send
2 p.m. Okay, so just let Trish know, and okay, so let's go through some concurrences first. All right, so House Bill 51, Delegate Motts, the motion is to concur in the Senate amendments. The Senate amendments limits hours for Sunday deer or turkey hunting in Talbot County to 30 minutes before sunrise and until 10:30 a.m. except for existing Sundays. Any discussion on the motion to concur? Seeing none? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. We concur. Okay, House Bill 514, Charles County Delegation, Sunday hunting, same deal, same bat time, same bat channel. We move to concur. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of concurring signify by saying aye. All those opposed, we concur. Next bill is House Bill 927, Delegate Julie Polakovich Carr, and this is that housing and community development listing and disposal of excess real property. The motion is to concur. The amendment conforms the bill to Senate Bill 744, which was amended and passed by the House. We move to concur. Is there a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Should never inhale saliva. Okay, we concur. Okay. House Bill 53, Delegates Robin Lewis, Ampry, Boyce, Learman, and Prettyman. The motion is to concur. This is a bill that has to do with dedicated bus lanes, prohibition and monitoring systems. Okay, there are a couple of amendments from the Senate. The First Amendment requires Baltimore City to select a bus line system operator or an entity or administrator or civil citations through competitive request for proposal, thank you so much, reduces the maximum fine to $75 and requires a warning for the first 45 days a bus lane monitoring system is in effect. And the Second Amendment requires a bus lane monitoring system to be able to differentiate between a violator and a vehicle taking a legal right turn, and requires video evidence to be made available to the alleged violator admissible in court. Those are the amendments. The motion is to concur in the Senate amendments. Is there a second? Any discussion? Sarah, any discussion? Nope? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, we concur. So the next bill is House Bill 696. It's a DFH bill. And this has to do with electric school bus pilot program, and the amendment in the Senate, which we're hopefully going to concur with, is technical to conform the bill to the electric school bus pilot program enacted under Senate Bill 528 in Climate Solutions. So the motion is to concur. Is there a second? Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. We concur. Okay, so now let's get to the really contentious issue here. A bill was let out of the House Rules Committee. It's a Senate Bill 1006, and it has to do with hemp farming. And so, Dave, why don't you explain what's going on here? And Kristen's going to help you.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back and try to give for some of the newer members that aren't familiar with this. We've been working on a variety of hemp policy. This committee has been for 8 or 9 years, just because it's been wrapped up with all kinds of other issues that don't have anything to do with hemp. There's no psychedelic, psychotropic value of hemp. Nobody can get high if they smoke hemp. None of that is true. I say that because it took years to educate this committee and the General Assembly to come to that understanding. With that said, this is a late file bill that came from the Senate. It's Senator Gazzone's bill, and the bill essentially allows for hemp to be used in edible products. It does two things. It allows hemp to be used in edible products as long as it's below 0.3% THC content, which, just for the education of the committee members, if you want to get high on anything with THC, it has to be well over 25%, so this is meaningless as far as that's concerned. So that's one piece the bill does. It allows it to be used. Thank you. It allows it to be used for edibles, which is very good for you, and in a lot of cases helps with epilepsy and a bunch of other issues. So that's one piece the bill does. And the second piece the bill does, which is really important, this is a big economic development piece. When you guys are done, could you please let me know? Kind. Okay, with that said, there's a huge economic development piece of this bill, which is that we have been encouraging farmers in this state to finally get in and grow hemp crop to be used for all kinds of things, from paper to concrete, cement or hempcrete to edible, all kinds of things. And what's happened is that if you grow a crop and your flower tests above 0.3%, then you automatically have to burn the entire crop, which is a huge loss. So we've gone from about 100 farms or farmers that are licensed to grow hemp down to, I don't know, it's like 8 or 10 or something now. Because if they grow just right above 3%, if they test right above 3%, everything gets burned. It's a total loss, which is a big problem. So what this bill says is if the feds allow it, and only if the feds allow it, then
No, actually, that's what it'll say with the amendment.
that's what it'll say with the amendment, is that if the feds allow it, then anything between 0.3 and 1% can, if it tests above that, so if it's a hot crop, it can still be used for edibles as long as it's cut to below 0.3%. In other words, to ensure that nobody's consuming anything above 0.3%. So instead of burning the crop, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all that matters for the essence of the big part of this bill is it's below 0.3%. And in the end, as long as they cut it below 0.3%, then it does that, and nobody's concerned, nobody's worried. With that said, we came up with an amendment that says that only goes into effect if the feds do it, and the feds are very heavily suspected to do that exact piece in the coming months. So that's what the bill does. That's what the bill does as amended. I'm happy to answer questions. I squeezed in a 20-minute bill hearing inside of 2 minutes and 67 seconds.
So let me just make a few, there are 3 people who want to speak, and before I recognize you, let me just tell you that this is a bill that was introduced in the Senate on February 25. It had, I believe it was referred to EHEA on March 7th. They got around to voting for it Thursday, okay? And so basically what, so we right now, the Rules Committee popped it out and re-referred it to our committee. We don't yet have physical possession of the bill, do we? Okay, and basically Kristen is writing an amendment based on, the copy here of the Senate bill. And I want to have a discussion right now, but if you're comfortable, I'd like for us to vote on the amendment in concept in the bill so that we can move it on the floor in an expeditious fashion. But let me now go to, right, okay. I mean, some of the amendments are here, but it doesn't have that language that makes it contingent on federal approval.
I can read the bill report number. Language on the committee amendment if you'd like me to. Would that be helpful, Kristen?
There still is a technical You can read it, that's
Okay.
fine, but there is a technical, an additional technical amendment that would need to make the Department of Agriculture responsible for notifying the General Assembly well, it's just something in standard language that we use
Right.
when we make the bills contingent on federal law
And the
passage.
10-year sun.
Okay, so let me,
We don't need to do that, I don't think.
Okay, great.
okay, do you want to read that?
Yeah,
or-
I can read
okay,
it
Go
if-
ahead and
if
do
you'd
that,
like.
and then I'll go to the people who've
Okay,
asked to speak.
the committee amendment, the amendment corrects reference in the allowable delta-9 THC concentration of hemp that may be used in consumable products and makes the bill contingent on adopting of the federal law, regulation, or rule authorizing the use of hemp and delta-9 THC concentrations in the consumable product. So that's, what that translates to is, this is a moot point unless the feds do it, and the feds are expected to do it, but they actually haven't done it yet.
Okay, first question goes to Delegate Ampry.
Oh, thank you. I think you already answered my question. Just to clarify, the federal standard for hemp not being at the high enough THC level is the same standard that we're doing here, right? Or the same standard as the 0.3 or whatever %.
Yeah, I think that where the federal is between 0.3 and 0.5. Is that right? I think that's where it is, but they haven't gone up to 1%. But again, that 1% can't be consumed. That has to be cut to below 0.3.
Right. So this won't affect any federal yeah, I just want to clarify that.
To your point, the reason that we're putting the only if the feds do it hook on it
Right.
is to avoid exactly what I think you're getting at,
Right,
which is
so,
we don't
yeah.
want to be incongruent with federal law.
Well, what we
it's-
do not want to do, because we're passing this bill at the last moment, we do not want to run the risk of invalidating our entire hemp program.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what that language
Right.
will protect us from having happened. But, you know, it would have been so nice if we'd had this conversation in February and March, wouldn't it?
You know, it would have been really nice. It would have been really nice, and I'm thankful that we're a community that gets things moving a little faster.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Marlon, if you could push your button.
I'm
and,
sorry.
yeah, that's fine. Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate DFH explaining this. Just like we, ladies and gentlemen, in Environment and Transportation Committee, we pass laws that are enabling legislation for jurisdictions all the time. Now what we're doing, it sounds to me, DFH, if I could ask this question, we are asking for if it's enabled by the federal government, then we can move forward. This is enabling legislation for the state of Maryland. Is that correct?
You are very wise. That is exactly correct.
Others have said the same thing as you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
That's exactly right.
Okay,
That's exactly right.
Delegate Otto.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to prolong this, but I had an issue with the UMES and a grower down there on hemp and the timing of the testing of it. Does it change that timing? You know, when they said it went to the late harvest in the fiber part of it, that the levels were higher, and before it had been 90 days, they could do the testing, and when they went to like a 30-day interval, that created that 90% of their crop was not available. So
Well, Kristen says
This
the
doesn't
timing
touch-
is not involved.
That doesn't touch that.
it doesn't touch that.
Doesn't touch the current policy. But with that said, every year or two, like, we have worked on tweaking hemp policy, and so I wouldn't be surprised if next year we have to
But I think
sit down
that
and
was
address
the
that piece.
Department of Ag doing something that the feds had sort of required in some fashion. Anyway,
Not touched on this.
all
this
right.
bill.
Well, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have a couple of questions. First of all, you're explaining this nexus, this connection to what the feds may or may not do. That's not anywhere in here. So this is something.
It's in the amendments that Kristen's working on.
Okay, because it's not in what's in front of us.
It's in the amendments that Kristen's working on.
Okay. So then the other thing is, we have two different versions. Well, the time and date stamp at the top of the bill that was on our desks is 4/11 today at 2:51, and then I have another copy that says 4:07 p.m. Is the 4:07 reflect something different that?
So I had sent to the committee staff today a draft that I updated. So the most recent copy is the most recent version that was handed out to you. So I didn't recall what you.
407.
407, or what was the other one?
I don't know,
Is there
I only
anything
have one that
different
says
between the
407.
251 and the 407?
So 407, there was a technical correction. There was an amendment that was just left out.
Okay, and then my last question is, where does an institute of higher education come into this? What is
It doesn't anymore. It used to. Right, Kristen? It doesn't.
So
In
there
the
was a
previous versions it did, but
Well, I think that's an existing law with the pilot program. And yeah, that's just not, there wasn't language added that addresses institutions of higher education.
So will that stay in, or will the amendment strike that, or?
The amendment doesn't, no, where are you in the bill?
It's just mentioned like in the definitions, there's,
Yeah, that's existing law. No, nothing is being
Okay.
changed with that existing definition.
Talks about institutions of higher education, like
Yeah, that
contracting with
that relates
cultivators.
to a current program, and that's part of the current law is not being amended here.
Okay,
You know, let me say this. I no longer feel comfortable having us vote prospectively for an amendment that hasn't been drafted yet. So when it's drafted, I will ask for permission to take us off the floor so we can actually look at the language and vote for it in the lobby or wherever. But I wanted everybody to have an opportunity to hear this and ask questions. And if there are any other questions, please do that. Do we have one more concurrence?
may I just say one little piece?
Sure, go ahead.
So just FYI, for those that don't know, the reason that I'm working on this bill is because I've been working on hemp bills for 9 years. And I was the cross-file. My bill was in rules and didn't come out of rules. That's neither here nor there. I don't really personally care about that. This is the Senate's bill, so we're not even looking or working on my bill. And I'm okay with that if anybody asks. It's just about getting the policy right. But that's the reason why I'm kind of leading it, is because of that particular piece. That's all.
Okay. All right, we have another concurrence here. Yeah, so, I mean, just to put a cap on this, you know, look, I mean, we have a very high quality of work standard in this committee, and I just don't feel comfortable having you vote on it until you actually see the words on the paper. So we'll come off the floor and do it. You turned your light. Okay, so we have one more concurrence. It is House Bill 855. This is Regina's bill, and it's the Urban Agriculture, Water, and Power Infrastructure Grant. And my understanding is, what do you know what the amendments do?
Sure, it just.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there you go.
This amendment, the Senate bill, this committee has passed this bill in the same posture, and what this amendment does is just updating the reference to an urban area to those that are delineated by the U.S. Census Bureau.
So the motion is to concur to conform Regina's bill to the Senate bill that we passed previously. Okay, any discussion on that concurrence? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. We concur on House Bill 855. Should I give this to you?
Yeah, I'll make you.
Okay, sounds good. So I think for right now, we're done. We have to be on the floor in 10 minutes roughly, so, you know, just keep your ears open for what we're doing here, and I'll let the Speaker's office know that we're gonna have to come off the floor and do this properly. So, unless there's any announcements, we're adjourned. Bring paper copies also. Hey, everybody, hold on one second. I just want to let you know that when the amendment is done, it will be emailed out to everybody, but you'll also get paper copies when we're voting